So the other day I was at the gym and I texted my friend that I lost 3 pounds. And she was telling me how proud she was, and it made me feel good. And she said, I was listening to a sermon and it made me think of you. So I said, send me that sermon. And she said the quote that stuck out to her was, you're not what you do once, but you are what you do consistently. And she says, Danielle, I'm proud of you. You're doing this. I see you every day, leave from work and you go to the gym. And I wanted to thank her for that. And I did. And I decided to listen to the sermon. And towards the end, there were 5 minutes left on the treadmill. And on those 5 minutes on the sermon, he started talking about his testimony. And his testimony was just touched my heart. He said he grew up with 9 brothers and 6 sisters. His father was in jail for murder. His father sold crack as he was growing up. He didn't meet his father until he was 16. And even when he met his father did not want anything to do with him. And that just had me bawling on the treadmill because I can relate to all of that. Growing up, my dad was very physically abusive to my mom growing up, to the point where he almost killed her in front of me. When I was 8 years old, he almost beat her to death. And that is something I will never forget. I remember the blood drops that led from the hallway to the bathroom. I remember her head on the tub as he just kept throwing punches and she was just lifeless. I remember a couple of days later when my aunt took us to visit her and she opened the door and her eyes were sticking out of her face, just so very swollen. I remember them putting him in the cop car, and before he went in the cop car, he said it felt good to beat that bee's ass. I remember all of that. I remember years later when he married my stepmom and he lived with my stepmom. I remember I went in, he would never allow us in his room. And I went in his room being a curious child. And I looked under the bathroom cabinet and I sent my mom a picture of something. And I said, what is this? She's like, that's crack. Your father's doing crack again. Get out of his room. I remember just all those things that I thought did not affect me. I wasn't promiscuous. I didn't do drugs. Although for some reason I had this in my mind that you're not affected because you didn't do bad things, but I was affected. I have a hard time letting people in. I have a hard time speaking about how I was raised. I have a hard time being vulnerable. And it's starting to hurt me because it's something that I crave so deep, is just to have my person. And I'm realizing I cannot have my person if I don't allow them in, if I don't know how to be vulnerable. So I'm sharing my testimony because I, on a Friday night, am cleaning my house alone after my girls are at their dad's and it's just me and I'm in my peace. And I think to myself all the things that I have been able to do with God. I have never been abused. I have never, been with a man who does drugs. I have never been to jail. And I get woken up every day with a new chance to conquer the day. And I always think of all the things that I don't have. And I'm appreciating right now all of the things that I do have. Being able to mop my floors is such a beautiful blessing, and I always look past it. Being able to have everything that me and my girls need is such a beautiful blessing. Thank you, God.